Welcome to Loading the Bar with physical training experts Parker McBride and Matt Wasco. Our Fit Lifestyle podcast covers the science of nutrition and fitness, together with the challenges we all face to be disciplined. We'll guide you through the minefields of fads and gimmicks and all manner of BS that tempt us in today's fitness world. Ready to begin? Then let's start loading the bar.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Loading the Bar podcast. Parker McBride here, joined as always by my co-host Matt Wasco, and we have a couple of very special guests that we're welcoming on today. So we have James Pelis and his granddaughter Eliza here with us.
Yay.
So welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us. It's great.
And Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm always I've been trying to get James on the podcast for probably a month.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope I can say something worthwhile.
We were trying to get one of his sons to come with him, but it's just everyone's busy. So we'll just bring in the head of the household.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks
You
for
bet.
having us.
Yeah, and Matt, you've known James for a couple years now?
A couple years, yeah.
Yep, we've been training together a couple of years now. So me and the boys. So my son David started first. Dave's 22 years old.
Right.
And it's cool as my children get older, if they ask me to come do something with them, I do it. So I started because Dave started doing it, and then Isaiah joined us, and now my son-in-law, Jonathan, joined us, and now Billy joined us. So,
Yeah.
So we're...
Yeah, and I want to get into that a little bit more, but there's a lot of philosophy that I think people can learn from James, that just don't practice that, and I think people can learn. So we'll cover that.
Well, it sounds like he makes the gym a family affair. That's kind of cool.
Absolutely.
So I definitely like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I've been trying to make like everything a family affair, even podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
So
got a couple members here today.
Yeah, we hung out and drove together and visited all the way. So
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, before we really get into any of that, we're going to dive into our Fit Focus segment that we do every week. Matt kind of brought this to my attention this week. We have
Now cautious now.
some articles about tattoos. So, most of us don't really think about tattoos when we think about the effects on health, but we have some fairly concerning things here. So one of the articles we're going to dive into, the headline reads, over 80% of tattoo inks contain unlisted substances that can cause organ damages and allergies.
Yeah. So as we get into this, our podcast is about health and fitness, right? So we obviously train a great number of people. We have family that have tattoos. We have friends that have tattoos, and we have dear ones we love that have tattoos. So, this is not indicative as far as, a moral statement, but this is more of a statement on, because this is our job, as trainers to, cover things that are showing up in studies, and so I just want to preface that before we get into this. So, one of the things that came out of this study, is this first one is, scrolling down, losing my place here. So there was 50, out of the 54 inks they studied, 9 brands they analyzed by researchers, 45 of the inks, which is 83%, were found to contain unlisted additives and pigments. And going forward, over half of the risks contain unlisted polyethylene glycol, which causes organ damages followed by repeated exposure. And 15 inks contain propylene glycol, a potential allergen. Some contained a compound called 2-phenylethanol and posed health risks to nursing infants, while other inks were contaminated with an antibiotic used to treat urinary tract infections. So, these are things that, there's a lot of risks associated with tattoos, and a lot of people don't think about that. And when you get tattoos, it should be something you think about.
Well, we talk a lot about what we're putting in our mouth, what we're eating.
Yep.
we don't talk a lot about what we're putting on our skin, and our skin can sometimes absorb chemicals and things just as well as it can when we put it in our mouth.
This is something that I know nothing about, but as you're talking about it, it just reminds me of everybody used to smoke, right? And it's just tobacco. No, it had this and this and this and this, and it has 50 different pollutants in it.
Right.
And you're saying the same thing about jabbing yourself with ink. That won't harm you.
Yeah.
Wait 20 years.
Well, I mean, ink is one of those things that has, increased probably, I don't know how many fold, but quite a bit in the last, 10 years.
Yeah, and I'm reading in this article, it says regulation on tattoo ink actually didn't even start until 2022. Before 2022, there was no regulation at all.
Oh, wow.
And so
it's the new smoking. There you go. It's a new cigarette smoking. So stop it.
Now, I will say that
Matt told me that, by the
way. James, you're going to get me in trouble, brother. But, it goes on to say risks associated with tattooing usually focuses on skin cancer, which is a reaction to the pigments. Ink additives can be dangerous as well, including having negative impacts beyond the skin. If a person with tattoos starts experiencing reactions, unlisted ingredients can make it challenging to ascertain the reaction. So part of that is that each time these inks are made, it's hard. There's the number of different additives they put into them that, can cause an allergic reaction, right? Or some type of infection. And when you put all that little concoction together to make that color, then it becomes a problem with, well, how do you it's difficult to discern what's causing the reaction. So, and I go back, I've known a lot of people that have tattoos, and I would say I knew one or two that had an allergic reaction or some type of issue with their tattoo. Now, that was just an allergic reaction that they had to get taken care of with some type of bacteria. But as we see here, you don't hear a lot about skin cancer of some sort. Do they associate it to the inks? Is there that association there? And now with these studies that are coming out, because there is actually, me and Parker had about 7 studies we were looking at, and we narrowed it down to 2.
Wow. What about like liver and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's one. Well, no, the one of the studies we have. I'm trying to think. I don't know if this one was the one. Let me pull this down here.
What do you think about tattoos, honey?
I don't know.
You don't know? You want to show them your tattoo? Here, show them your tattoo. There's a healthy tattoo.
Yeah, that's a healthy tattoo. That's not one with ink, but it causes a different type of colorization.
Well, yeah, I think the one you're referring to, there was also a study we looked at that said tattoo pigments are observed in the Kupffer cells of the liver, indicating there is blood-borne distribution of tattoo ink. So
sure,
it doesn't just stay on your skin. You talked about the risk of skin cancer. It doesn't just stay on your skin, though. It can seep in and actually be in the blood.
Once you get a tattoo, doesn't it get all red around it? What is that? Is that some kind of reaction? Or is that just from being stabbed?
It's being stabbed. It's very, because you're having, thousands of little needles are going in you to create that color, that image. And it's really sore. They have to treat it for about, I think it's about a week. That's really tender, and it's you don't want to stretch it or do a lot of things with it, so it's very sore. I came across another point here. These are the metals that are been detected, which is iron, aluminum, titanium,
wow,
copper, which are found in green and blue inks, and then there's levels of iron, chromium, magnesium, cobalt, nickel, zinc, lead, arsenic were found in.
I bet that's in green because it turns your skin green because it's rotting. I have no idea.
But and then in 2016 there was a respective study that said 493 health complications resulting from tattooing among 405 individuals. They identified 184 cases of allergic reactions and 53 instances of bacterial infections and 46 psychosocial complications.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, it's something that, at the very least, these are things you need to be thinking about.
Well, I was looking more at this study about the liver, and let's think about what's the purpose of the liver.
Clean up
Filter.
the blood, ain't it?
Clean out the blood, exactly.
Yeah.
So they said here that they found these cells in the liver, but they did not detect any other pigment in other internal organs. So that means it's all going to the liver because it's a toxin, and as the blood goes through, the liver sees it needs to pull this stuff out because it's a toxin that's been put in your body. So that right there should be proof enough that this stuff is toxic for you because the human body says it is.
Yeah, that's pretty. That one statement right there, that would cause me to pause. You know, if my liver has to filter out what I'm putting in my skin, something to think
It goes
about.
the same way with alcohol too.
Yeah.
And that, that's the thing you brought up at the beginning, not wanting to be too harsh on people who have tattoos. We've also preached on this podcast not to eat Oreos, not to eat, sugar and
Right.
and all that bad stuff as well. So, it's just, we're just looking at the facts here and looking at trying to keep you guys as healthy as we can.
Yeah, so jumping ahead here, this is the other study. Tattoo pigments are observed in Kupfer cells. Am I saying that right?
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, Kupfer cells of the liver, indicating blood-borne distribution of tattoo ink. So you were jumping ahead on this, weren't you?
When I went to medical school, I think that was the correct. Forget it.
I thought you had something profound to say.
I don't even know correct pronunciation. There you go.
Well, I'm not really sure we need medical school to know that,
No,
to be
no.
honest with you. And that's the thing about it is a lot of times nowadays we just want to only believe the things that doctors say.
The experts.
When we can test that for ourselves a little bit, and we can determine what kind of effect that has.
Yeah, there seems
Amen.
to be a psychology that exists these days that the common sense, things that you can just look at and just common sense, what doesn't make sense to smoke, it doesn't make sense to, eat these foods or whatever.
If your goal is health, right?
If your goal is health, and now the common sense has been replaced with, what I want to do, and
Well, I'm sure Fauci will figure it out for you. Don't worry.
yeah. Yeah, Fauci, I'm sure Fauci has some type of vaccine for people who get tattoos. Did you see this one, Parker? The materials and methods of how they performed this last study.
No.
It said, the aim was tattoo pigments are deposited in the skin and known to distribute to regional lymph nodes. Tattoo pigments are small particles and may be able to reach the bloodstream and become distributed to peripheral organs. This has not been studied in the past. The aim of this study was to trace tattoo pigments in the internal organs in mice extensively tattooed with 2 different tattoo inks. Interesting. So 3 groups of mice were studied, 10 tattooed black, 10 tattooed red, and 5 untreated controls. They were tattooed on the entire back with the commercial tattoo inks, black and red. Mice were sacrificed after 1 year. Samples were isolated from the tattoo skin, lymph nodes, liver, spleen, kidneys, lungs. Samples were examined from the deposit of the tattoo pigments by light microscopy and transmission of electron microscope. Conclusion, the study demonstrated black and red tattoo pigments deposits in the liver, which makes sense to what you just said. Thus, the tattoo pigments distributed from the tattooed skin via the bloodstream to this important organ of detoxification. So again, we're talking about all those metals. So
Not things that should naturally be there.
correct. So
Something I would say along with that too is it's kind of like we talk about eating processed foods. We tell people not to eat them. Doesn't mean we never eat them. we talk about the 90-10 rule. Like you want to be 90% good. It's maybe okay to be bad 10% of the time. You know, I don't think that, you know, the human body's incredibly resilient, and a little bit of, you know, tattoo ink here or there, processed foods isn't going to just absolutely kill it. It's the abuse over time. You know, it's eating a ton of processed foods every day after day after day is going to eventually lead to long-term disease, kind of like we talked about with the Alzheimer's study a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
You know, I think that's something similar that we see here, because when they talked about the studying the mice, you know, they said they tattooed their like entire back. You know, so that's a
lot of ink.
A lot of ink compared to the size of how big they are.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so that's something to consider too. Is everything in moderation?
Well, I mean, I've known plenty of people who got like a cross like down on their ankle.
The butterfly on
or
the
butterfly. You know, it's like a little thing. And like you said, the body's pretty resilient, and you know, probably
Your foot's gonna fall off. You
Yeah,
got the butterfly.
But it's I guess the similarity would be when you get a lot of ink. I mean, like you're doing an entire back, or you know, these people that do full body tattoos. That's where you're challenging the body's immune system, its ability to filter those things out, because you're putting foreign, bodies in it.
So I think the conclusion there is just, you know, be cognizant of what you're putting on your skin, the same way you would be as what you put in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else. We make a educated decision,
Yeah.
right? So the more information you have, the better, more educated your decision will be, and you understand the ramifications for the choices you make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
James,
All
you got anything else to add about tattoos before we move on?
I know very little about tattoos, so
Yeah.
So
Same. I really didn't know hardly anything till Matt sent me over these studies. Matt's our tattoo expert in the room. So.
that's right.
I'm probably going to get a lot of hate mail. I'll be like, hey, I love everybody. Right.
All right. Well, now we kind of want to move on to talking with our guests a little bit and talk to James a little bit. So,
All right.
What I want to kind of start out with is, looking back. You're how old?
I'll be 60 this year.
60. So,
Yep.
you know, you've already lived quite a bit of life.
Sure.
And I want to talk about kind of where your journey started with your own health and fitness, where you started caring about that, however long ago that was, and kind of what made you realize that's something important in our lives.
All right. Where did it start? Probably when we started doing martial arts, which was, 20, 30 years ago. You're sparring, you're fighting, and especially when you're sparring, the endurance and all that stuff. And there was a little bit of weightlifting in there, not even weightlifting, but exercising, that type of thing. And so that's probably where the journey started. And even but the martial arts started because I started having kids. Jim, Jim.
Yeah.
And he was young. He was a great football player when he was young. Okay. But what I seen was that football, you're at football practice every night, right? And it was really taken away from our time at home and our supper time. So we started looking for something to do. Hey, maybe I could take all the kids too, because then you have 2 kids, 3 kids, you're running all around doing all this stuff. And I said, no, it's destroying our family and our family time together. So we started doing some martial arts together, and so the boys were all doing it, got the girls involved, and eventually I ended up going in there with them and training with my sons. So,
Well, you also, how long have you been hiking?
Forever.
Yeah.
So, but I really didn't consider that. I'm not doing it for fitness. I'm just doing it.
But it speaks to something. Fitness can be very mentally good for you. It's very healthy, not just for the body, but for the mind.
Absolutely.
And so you did it initially for the mind, because when you came in, and we've talked about this, your cardio was really good, and you were able, I had to push you pretty hard to get you on the floor.
Sure.
So, I think that was one of the things that surprised me, is how good a cardio you had being the age that you are. It was impressive.
Well, thank you. Probably a lot of that. I got run over by a semi 8 years ago. Okay. and smashed this whole side, busted these ribs, my back, took this leg and blew it out and chunked off my hip, and so after that, you walk from here to the front door and you're out of breath.
Right.
So that was probably a lot of that was pushing to get healthier after the wreck. But I just like being in the woods and running around but never really considered that training. It's just doing something,
But you have a companion on those hikes.
Oh, absolutely. We go hiking. We'll probably go hiking today, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. We go.
No, I was.
Oh no, my other companion.
Yeah, their companion.
Yeah,
the
Jeb.
Yeah,
Jeb, the pet goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the little funny story. So I don't think you told me about this goat. And I got to the gym, and there's this goat tied up to the outside of the gym. I said, "What the hell? There's a goat out here!" And so I went up to try to pet it. He didn't want to have any. He didn't want to be.
Oh no.
He does not want to be
No,
touched.
he's not a dog, People
Yeah.
say, "Oh, look at the, I want to." No, you go, "Leave me alone,"
Yeah. So found out that you hike with that goat.
Yeah. So after the wreck again, I was talking to my wife about, hey, they breed goats to carry your pack because I like backpacking, and that kind of stuff, and especially had this, knee carved on a little bit, and my hip was hurting because I broke it,
Right.
And so, hey, if I could have the goat carry the pack, that'd be great. And so one day, we're having a birthday party at the house, and we have about a birthday party a month because there's over 30 of us now, And I came around the corner, all the grandkids are jumping up and down, and happy birthday. And there's this little goat for me, and and he don't pack nothing, but I've leash trained him, and we'll go do 30 miles.
That's
And
crazy.
30 hard miles, and I can out hike them, but it's great. People love them. The kids love them. You take a goat on a leash to Watkins Mill, and it just, a goat's not very odd. An animal's not very odd, but a goat on a leash is, and all the kids love to pet them and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Did you get it as a baby, or
No,
it was already like trained?
Oh no.
No, it was just
yeah.
just a goat on somebody's
Just a
farm.
goat.
That's probably a process.
Yeah, he's a little goat, but yeah. But I've learned with the kids, all you do is keep them in front of you. So if you go hiking so we got 8 children. We just had our 20th. We had 3 grandbabies in 10 days. So we got we got 20 grandbabies now. And if you go hiking with them, they get tired, they want to fall back. No, you keep them in front, keep them going. You just train the goat the same
Just
way.
like goats.
Just like goats.
Does he actually carry your pack?
No, he don't carry nothing. Nothing.
So strictly companion.
Strictly companion goat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not.
Is he good conversation?
Oh no, he don't do nothing. He walks and he throws his head like, I'm tired of walking. So what? Keep going.
So 30 miles.
Yeah, you can go to Perry Lake State Park, and there's a hard 30-mile trail there by the lake, and we'll go do it in 2 days. Me and my grandson done it with, and done it several times. So.
Do you go like 15 miles in a day?
Yep, generally.
Yeah.
Yep, start out Saturday morning, do 15 miles, and by the time you do a hard 15, you're tired. You're carrying a pack and fighting a dumb goat, and
Yeah.
then you do 30 miles or 15 miles the next.
Yeah, well, that was something that, I've gotten to know James for over the last couple of years. We had many, many conversations. Had nothing to do with fitness.
Yeah.
But, I've always been very impressed with his approach to things and why he started training with Dave. So I want you to kind of talk about that philosophy. Why did you come and train with Dave?
Okay, well, thank you, first off. And second off, man, I'm nobody. I'm James, the air conditioning dude,
Right.
So these things started long ago, really, when I first became a Christian. And I'm reading my Bible, and God says many children are a blessing. All right? And he says it over and over and over again. And everybody, from my parents to her parents to the whole society, is saying, have 2 and get cut and don't have no more. And it came down to, damn it, do I believe God or not? And so we started having children, and we had a bunch of them. And then we started, you have family devotions at supper time and all that. And Deuteronomy 5 is the Ten Commandments. So we memorize the Ten Commandments. Everybody used to know the Ten Commandments. And then Deuteronomy 6 is, fathers, as you're living your life throughout the day with your children, teach them these things. Teach them, basically become the kind of man you want your son to be and show them how to do it. Live your life with them. It's really simple.
Right.
And so that's when we started homeschooling. We started bringing the children to work Jimmy started when he's 11 years old. Jim, who's half owner of the business, been a full-time pipe fitter since he's 11 years old, okay? And I raised the boys doing that. So now they come up out of the house and you raise them and they got their own homes now and all that and they're independent, but we still work together. And now, before it was, I'm going to lead them, I'm going to show them, I'm not going to turn them over to others to raise. I'm going to raise them myself, okay? And, which is like unheard of. Nobody does that. Right? It's crazy.
Right.
And, parents raising children is nuts in our society, right? And look around, look what it's caused.
Right.
And so now Dave is interested in something good, like something productive, like building strength in his body, right? And he says, hey, old man, you want to join me? Guess what? I'm going to get behind that, and I'm going to encourage that. I'm going to be there with them.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. So anytime they want to do a business or they want to build a house or they want to do something that is productive and I'm interested in, right, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be there.
I always talk about we're supposed to be around others, right? Mm-hmm. And I even mentioned that last week. And there's a reason for that. And that is that there's other people that are doing things that you're not doing or that inspire you or affirm something in you. So that was almost my quote from last week. And, and that's why that's important is that, me and Parker train a lot of people. So we're not only are they influenced by our training, mm-hmm. but then our people that we train influence us, mm-hmm. right? So it's like, I need to incorporate some of these approaches and philosophies and how he's integrated that into his life, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah, it's a process, right?
It is a process, mm-hmm. right? And so, all the discussions we've had, it's been really refreshing.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think it's so simple, just like, we measure our bicep as it gets bigger. Do we measure, can I move more weight? What we ought to be doing is, am I spending more time, face-to-face time with my children today? How much time do you spend with your kid today?
Right.
Face-to-face doing something. I only spent 15 minutes. Well, I tell you what, if your child or teenager or whatever it is spending 8 hours in front of a screen, another 8 hours in some pervert school or weirdo stuff being taught, and you're spending no time, you're not teaching, you're not raising, you're not discipling. To disciple is to discipline up, right? That's not beating up, that's showing somebody how to live.
Right.
And if you're not doing that, somebody else, our society and all our institutions have went corrupt. You put them in that, they're going to end up corrupted.
Right.
And I just say no. Years ago we shut the TV off, and wow, it was like, oh, who are you? Let's talk. Let's raise kids. Let's do stuff together.
Yeah.
And it's real simple. I tell my children, and they're grown now, but I do it with my grandchildren. As a matter of fact, Eliza, I've told her today, the most important thing that she can be, the most powerful thing she can be, is a good mommy. Have a bunch of kids, and she's already promised me that she's going to name at least 2 of them James. Okay, at least 2, and for that she gets one of my gold teeth when I die. Okay, but we pay. But being a good mommy is the most important thing you can be. And being a good dad is the most important thing you can be. I don't care what you do for, it's cool to go to the moon, and what's that Musk dude doing these days? He's putting stuff in. That's all cool stuff.
Right.
But the most powerful thing you can be, the best thing you can be, what America needs is not so much going to the moon or whatever it is. Be a good dad. That's what we need. We need strong families again. We need to rebuild society.
Yeah, and we just talked about that.
Well, we do talk a lot about priorities on this podcast and where they should kind of fall in. And, I think we talk about fitness and kind of the maybe it gives you the ability to fulfill some of these other priorities.
Absolutely.
If you can't get up off the couch and go walk a mile, how are you going to be the kind of father or mother that can provide for your family or nurture your family?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you can't be in the gym with your sons if you're a fat slob on the couch.
That's true.
I'm sorry.
That's true.
Or go to a mill sim or.
Yeah. And then you kind of have the opposite of that, though, where I think some people would maybe say they're not interested in the things their kids are interested in, or the things their kids are interested in aren't all that productive.
Mm-hmm.
If all your kid wants to do is sit down and play video games, right? And so the only way you can spend time with your kid is to play video games with them. That's kind of a tough position to be in. So I think it's also raising your kids to be interested in the right things as well.
Absolutely. If all he's interested in is video games, then you failed.
Exactly.
Because we all love video games. We all want to sit in front of a screen and just get entertained, and it's hard. But shut it off, man, and you got to subordinate what you want to what's good for your kid.
Well, you also, before you go, each night that you go home, you put your phone in your car and you leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah, because then let's shut off now so I can talk to Matt. So I can talk to you. So I can talk to you.
Yeah.
Being present, we don't see that as much these days. Everyone's always got some sort of distraction. Rarely do you get to sit down with somebody and just face to face, mano a mano, just being real, being raw. It's always got to be pictures or videos, or I'm also checking my social media and distractions.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
bloop, bloop. Oh, sorry. Bloop, bloop. Sorry.
Yeah.
And what I found too, you'll be face to face with somebody and their phone will buzz and they'll stop the conversation mid-conversation and go to their phone.
Absolutely.
And it's like, shouldn't the in-person conversation take precedence over whatever, whoever's buzzing your phone?
Absolutely. We've seen it at traveling on the road working with the boys. So we used to do a lot of on the road working with the boys and go camping. But you'd be in a hotel, lobby, and the television be going. Everybody's like this. And you shut it off. I shut it off. And people go, well, hey, I'm James. How are you today? It's amazing. Shut the damn thing off.
Yeah. It's, we took a vacation with a family it's been at least a decade. And I took them to it was a Franciscan retreat center. So there was no electronics whatsoever.
Yay.
No TVs, no radios, out in the wilderness.
Yay.
And we got out there, and I had the whole family out there, and it was the best vacation we ever took, just us in the wilderness. And the kids had a blast.
You bet.
So I told my wife, we need to do that again, because you get sucked in.
Oh, absolutely. It's easy. And we like it. That's a hard thing, but all of a sudden you just killed, you go like this. Oh, I just want to check this next, what are those shorts or something, and pretty soon like 3 hours is gone and you didn't spend it with your kids. And you know what? You're going to be old one day and you're going to be lonely because you didn't have kids. You didn't spend no time with them.
Yeah.
And they're going to stick you in a nursing home because, hey, you didn't spend no time with them. Don't expect them to come see you in the nursing home.
That's a good philosophy.
Yeah. There's an old poem, and it goes like, men are great, and men start wars, and men take over kingdoms, and men do all these big, great, powerful things. But the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And the most powerful thing a mommy can be, is a good mommy. And that poem was written by William Wallace of Scotland, Braveheart. He said, yeah, I do all these great, powerful things, and we all want to be paint ourselves blue and run through the woods naked and kill bad guys, And but in the end, the parent, the mommy, the daddy that'll be good parents will rule the future. So be a good parent.
Yeah.
Spend time with them.
Well, I mean, the younger generations, they are the future of the world, right?
And we're trashing them.
Yeah, we'll all be gone at some point when a lot of them are still there, and whatever they've been taught to do is what they'll do.
That
And so if it's the wrong kind of forces teaching them what to do, that's what they'll become.
Americans used to pursue something. The biggest thing was virtue, and we're trying to develop a certain character in our children. Public schools supported it. Television supported virtue, hard work, honesty, bravery, thriftiness, all these things. And that's what's made America great. Now we're saying, oh, we're great because we, rule the world's money supply, and let's just go try to make money or something. No, BS.
Yeah.
Okay. To pursue virtue and know we're jacked up, but keep on pursuing it. When you fall, when you screw up, get up and do it again.
Well, I mean, you're a shining example in a world of that's a mess. Talk a little bit about how you're running your operation. So, you have your business,
right?
In your HVAC business, and Jim is a partner in that.
Right.
But he's doing some things for the state of Missouri. You work to cover him so he can focus on these very important issues in the state of Missouri. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So Jimmy and I own a business together. Okay. Temperature Maintenance is our mechanical contractors. Several of the other boys, sometimes up to 5 of us, work together. Plus my daughter does the books. We own a couple other businesses too. But through this business, Jimmy works hard in it. I work hard in it. But then when Jim can devote himself, one of the things he's trying to do right now is he's working on trying to get gold and silver legal tender in our state. Okay. It actually it's going somewhere. So it'd be real nice to have a money supply that the feds can't just inflate whenever they want to print more money. And so he's putting time into that, okay? And so what I can do is work in the business and try to keep some money coming in while he's spending money and devoting his time to try to influence some of the laws in our state to make Missouri a better place to live, make it a place where we can live.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. So he's on the Central Committee, Cass County. He's a vice chair, I believe, there. But he goes to Jeff City at different times to talk. There's what people have to understand in Jeff City. It's completely ruled by Republicans, but most of those Republicans are just absolutely for sale. Okay.
Right.
And money rules. And there's 6 or 7 of them. The Democrats are just trash. I mean, they're satanic. It's a mess. Sorry, I probably just got a bunch of people in trouble. But 2/3 of the Republicans are the same as them. They're working with them. You got some rock stars, 6 or 7 of them, the Eigels and the Brattons and the Moons and Danny Hoskins, those guys that are actually conservatives and are trying to do something good. And so you can go up there, do something with those guys, and you can get some stuff done. So.
Yeah. And we just got that added to the docket for 2024.
I'm not sure where it's at, but it looks like the Republican Party, the state party, has just adopted it in their whatever you call that, and it's moving through the Senate, and where it is, we got promise in the House that it'll be fast tracked if it makes it there to the House. But there's so many lies, there's so much BS, and again, most of it's just for sale. So if you pay people a lot of money, the Republicans in Jeff City will do whatever you want, especially the leadership. They're the most corrupt. So.
Yeah. Well, if they get it passed, then it might hasten my move to Missouri to be sooner rather than later.
I got some gold backs, but they're in the truck. But so I got some golden dollar bills.
Yeah.
That other states are using for legal tender. So you can actually now get bills with gold in them, and they're worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I got some in the truck. I should have brought one in. I just showed it to the camera.
Is that the one that's from South Dakota?
There's South Dakota, Utah, Nevada.
You have all those?
I don't know what I got.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And UPMA. So if something passes here on the gold issue, and it becomes legal tender, then there's bullion banks. There's banks that'll move here, and you can actually just put your money in the bank, and they'll convert it to gold and issue you a credit card. So you can go to Walmart and spend your gold using a credit card. So. So
Yeah, a lot of people think it's like very archaic and we've outgrown the ability to be on a gold standard, but I think stuff like that shows that it's still very doable.
absolutely, yeah, and it
They
looks
just
like the
wanna tell
world's
us.
headed back that way. Yeah.
It does. It does seem like things are kind of swinging back in that direction. That brings me to a question I kind of had. We've talked about this plenty. I want to get your take on it. We're a health and fitness podcast. We talk a lot about strength training, though, and doing intense physical exercise.
Right.
How do you think that the fact that our world's moved to where not only do you not have to do any intense physical exercise to survive, most people decide not to. Anyway, how do you think that has contributed to our degradation of society?
I think goes along. Physical degradation goes along with moral degradation. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I hate these fat, soft, white, pale looking dudes. And the girls do too. They go, "Hey, look at that," dude. Not that I'm the most physical fit dude in the world, but again, I think our instincts are to reproduce, work, and fight. I think it's good and right and holy to make little children, provide for them, and protect them. And that being strong, having the virtue of being courageous, being physically fit, to be able to do all those three of those things, reproduce, work, and fight, is necessary. And as we get away from that, as we pervert everything. Reproduction isn't about reproduction no more. It's just about whatever you want to do to who, and we're not going to provide. We're all lazy bums on welfare. Let's just take some COVID money and watch Netflix, and man, you talk about fighting. I mean, really fighting with firearms and nods and all that stuff. And people go, oh my gosh, that's something the government should do. No, take it upon yourself.
Well, we are the government in this country.
Yeah,
that's the way it's supposed to be.
Supposed to be, but that is an old mindset, or renewing itself. That's been gone for a long time. It's been, hey, you just go to work, you're just a paycheck, let somebody else do everything else. I say no.
Yeah.
Freedom is responsibility. I'm going to take it upon myself.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that is swinging that back the other direction, we talk about it as it attributes to health and fitness, but it's also just the world in general, is the information age. We talked earlier about the negatives of social media and scrolling on your phone and stuff, but at the same time, it's unlocked information to, the whole country, if not the entire world, that wasn't there, 20, 30 years ago.
Amen. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a tool, like a rifle, it can be used for good or evil. Right?
Yeah. But people are able to find out all sorts of things and opinions that were withheld from us before.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we've been subject and are now. I think the cat got out of the bag with all the, I'm going to control all the information. It's been that way for decades. It's starting to get out of the bag, and they're trying to clamp down on it. The feds are trying to clamp down on it, but it keeps squirting out, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Banning TikTok.
Well, and I think, it's good to bring on people that we train, that we have respect for. And, we brought on a number of people, and that's why I've been trying to get you on for a while, is that, sometimes it's not just always about, being a trainer, is about getting our clients healthy and fit to do a lot of the things you're talking about. Right. And to do them well, because it's the same thing. If you're always tired and you're not very strong, and you could get easily injured, those things you're talking about are difficult to do.
Sure.
But if you work out and your fitness is a focus, you're going to have more energy, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I think going hand in hand with that, a lot of people that have a work ethic like you do, they have things to share, that are important for everybody to hear.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So.
Well, I kind of, attribute that to the reason it's important to be in the gym if you're looking at it from like a survival provision type of standpoint is think about, Matt, you're doing your bench press competition. You can bench what, 375, 380, something like that. That's a ton of weight.
Yeah.
And it can sometimes be seen as, okay, yeah, you're in a gym and you can push that much weight, but what's the point? Right? But I would say, what is that? That strength gives you the ability, if needed, it's there.
Right.
Because I don't know, let's say you've got to push something really heavy in an instance to either protect somebody or to even survive yourself. You have the ability to do that. And kind of how, strength has gotten with like bodybuilding and stuff, strength has gotten to where it's kind of a show, it's kind of a sport, and it's like, okay, cool, you got big muscles, and people like to look at that.
Right.
But actually the practicality behind that strength and the importance it can have.
We talk about that all the time. It's like I always told you guys, everything we do in the gym is supposed to help you pragmatically out in the real world.
Sure.
It shouldn't be just because you can do this way. It should actually be an application to be able to move the things you want to move, to be able to pick up your grandchildren when you're in your 70s and 80s. The more muscle mass you have, the longer you live. And that's, been proven through studies. For me, if I'm entering some type of competition, that competition is more to give me focus to my workout, right? Makes my workout, because by human nature, if I don't, and I'm thinking of myself, if I don't have something I'm kind of working towards and my workout's kind of just, I'll do this, do that, do this. But if I have something very focused that I'm working on, I accomplish two goals. One, I keep myself motivated, and two, I keep myself fit, right?
Yeah, what you're talking about, I think, is the number one important thing. If we're even talking about entering a competition or doing something in the gym, we're focused on fitness is what we're doing.
Right.
Instead, if I'm not doing that, I'll be focused on, I don't know, how many Netflix I can watch or whatever, right?
Right.
So it takes my whole focus. And again, that's why when Dave says, I'm going to get back to that, hey, Dad, you want to go with me to the gym? I see two things. Yeah, I can get more fit, okay? I overdo it, right? I always
always overdo it.
It's a tendency. I overdo anything.
Yeah.
So, but I've been learning. So I had to stop for several months, stop doing upper body workouts. But now I'm doing light weights. I'm trying to keep my form. So I'm starting to listen to Matt, and more repetition. So I'm starting to feel stronger again. But what was I talking about? I forget now. I'm on the subject.
You were talking about focus and having your goals.
Oh yeah, when Dave said, "Hey, well, you want to do this, Dad?" Yeah, because I want to stay strong. I wanted to kind of maintain youthfulness. I'm getting old, but you do stuff the young guys do with them. But I get to spend time with my sons, man, and we're there. And it's not so. And this started years ago with the martial arts. So I see a lot of dads. Like they have a boy, and then they live through them vicariously, right? Yeah, boy, I don't care if you like football or not. My peers are telling me how great I am because my son's a football player. It's like, you go work, I say, you jackass. And I'm in there suffering with them, doing the same with them, and we're building it. We're doing it together. Again, it's just together. It's, hey, and we love competitions, Matt knows. And so I'm trying to outdo my sons. Right, and they're trying to outdo me, and they can beat me now. But I'm still hanging in there. I'm still doing it. We do it shooting. We do it all the time.
Well, if you ever want, if I know like when I had you guys do those hit circuits,
yeah,
that would be the time you could outperform them.
yeah, I can do it with endurance, right? But not the strength. But
no, I mean it's I think that competitive nature needs to be kind of embraced.
Yeah. And it's fun.
It's healthy. It's fun. It gives, You
can get too carried away,
You
right?
can get carried away with it, like running with 50-pound dumbbells. But,
sure.
But outside of that,
I think I beat him on that.
I swore I thought I had a video of that. You guys sprinting with 50-pound dumbbells in your hands, but I couldn't find it. But anyway, no, I mean, that's as far as your own personal fitness, just to direct the conversation a little bit. So when you first came in, you were very, very competitive, and you got bored easily.
Yep.
Right.
I do.
And so you'd always outpace your son, so I'm having to come up with an exercise almost. They're still working out, and you keep completing everything because you're doing this, that. I'm done. And he goes, he doesn't like doing things slow. I say, 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down.
God, it's so boring.
Yeah. So, but now I want you to, so I just kind of put up with it.
Sure.
Your form wasn't that great at times, but as long as you weren't injuring yourself. But then in the last couple months, you've had this transition and you've been going really slow, lighter weight,
Right.
higher reps because of your wrist and your little bit of shoulder issue going on.
Shoulder, elbow, knee. Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that. What made you just like, you know what, I'm going to start doing what Matt's been talking about?
Well, several months ago, I had to stop because it's like, I can't pick up a pipe wrench no more because I'm not listening to Matt. I'm not keeping my form. And so I just got to where things were hurting so bad. I said, man, I got to stop doing this. I won't be able to work, And so I stopped doing upper body stuff 2-3 months ago and just did legs all the time. But then I got to, man, I can move a lot of weight with my legs. It's cool. Especially on that pull thing. I forget what you call that thing. What do you call it when you pull in?
Pull in.
Yeah, on that machine, your knees go out, you adductors.
Yeah, the abductor machine. Adductors and abductors, yeah. So just a little story on that. So they have these two machines in there, and I walk in one day, and he's got that thing loaded up. Those little 5-pound additions you can put over the top of the cables? He's got like 10 of them on there.
I got it maxed out on the weight, right? And I got like 10 of these weights stacked, much as I can go because they're hitting the top.
Went around to the whole gym and found all the
I did. You're looking under the, hey, are you using that?
So he's got some strong abductors.
But I pushed it hard on that, right? Because I got too carried away.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I got to start doing arms again because I started feeling weak,
Yeah.
And so it's been great. So that's why I just hurt too bad. And then I took a couple months off, but now I'm back to, I can curl, but I go slow and stop and go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's just boring as hell to me. And boring.
Right.
But it's been, I can feel now it's not all the pain in my joints. My muscles start getting sore, doing pull over, and my chest is getting. I can feel the good sore muscle building.
Yeah.
So
the other
here's
day,
the deal: don't pay a professional that ignores advice because you're a spaz.
Matt, that's a really good example of our theory about men being resistant to coaching and form.
Yeah.
We have a lot of problems. It's a lot of the men that we train, especially if they have experience in lifting or something like that before, they not that responsive to coaching, and trying to fix their form until they learn.
Until they get hurt.
Yeah, until they get hurt or something, and then all of a sudden they realize, I need to be focused on my form.
Yeah, and that's where Dave and Isaiah have been real great. They got great form. They listen to Matt and they go slow, and especially Dave's real mellow. And he just easy, happy, and he just does it. And he's gotten real strong.
Yeah, he has gotten real strong.
And Isaiah picked up a lot of weight. Yeah.
What was fun is that they're both like, they were new to the gym, and they sure made me look good in the first 6 months. I kept getting up there. We have this board that's the top 10 in weight loss, the top 10 in muscle gain, and because they have that scale.
Right.
And so when we got that scale, I started putting them on it, and they were always in the top 10.
Yeah.
In fact, Dave was like number 1 twice in muscle gain. Isaiah was up there for muscle gain.
Yeah.
Isaiah added like 8 pounds in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I'm looking good. But they did. Both of them. Man, you should see Isaiah. His wing, I measured his wingspan once, and insane. I mean, it's like, I want to say it was like almost 7 foot.
Yeah, he's the baby, and he's like 6'6" or something.
Wow.
He puts his hands out like this, and they're just holy smokes.
Beat up all his older brothers.
Well, he's a rail.
Yeah,
he's a rail.
thin,
but
he'd been sick a lot.
But when
he's getting better, getting healthier.
When I put him on the bench, when he picks, like, his hands go about maybe 5 inches past where the bar sits. So it's like when we take it off, it's like, this little bit of rise and then we're there. When he takes it off, it's like 6 inches above the bar. So it's like I'm trying to spot if his hands is coming all the way up like this if I were to
Yeah, all these shorter guys, pushing all this weight, Matt, 380, yeah, but it's like T-Rex, they're just going like this. And us tall, skinny guys, we got to push it way up here.
Yeah.
So it's no fair.
Yeah, it is a physics
You've
thing.
got the advantage.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Both your boys have really picked up form.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, really well, and both legs and in, upper body. And Bill is naturally picking it up.
Yep. Yeah, Jonathan's done great, and now I see Bill. Bill's a little like me. He'll get focused on something, and he'll get intense, and he'll do well.
Yeah.
So
it's been a real pleasure to train all the boys, and I'm hoping that I'll get to see a little, Dave and Isaiah a little bit more in the next few months.
Probably next few months you won't, because
Yeah.
it's summertime, and they took a job this summer loading shingles on roofs because they wanted to. Go for it, dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any fitness goals going forward, or is it simply just to stay in shape for your Paramount 3 ideas?
Really, for me, it's health. I need to get my wrist looked at.
You've been saying that for 2 years, by the way.
I know. But I got stuff to do, man.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I want to be able to get strong and not hurt. So
Yeah.
no, I'm not setting a goal. Once I've dislocated this shoulder. I've been busted up. I've got a lot of injuries, and when I was a kid, I've been in lots of car wrecks, did a lot of martial arts, fighting, raced dirt bikes, got tore up doing that stuff, and so I got a lot of injuries. If I can get those healthy again and just get strong.
Obviously, there's an aspect of just gritting your teeth and getting through it whenever your body hurts, but some things, I know Matt's talked to me before about your wrist injury and how that's limited you. Talk to us a little bit about working through those injuries where they've presented obstacles.
So all my life I've been able to get intense and work through pain. When it comes to age and joint issues, I've learned that's stupid, man. You better stop. And so now the only thing I've been able to do is slow down, get proper form. When something starts hurting, like I was doing it last night when I'm doing what is it? You're laying down and doing the pullovers,
Lat pullovers or triceps? Were you doing more out like this?
Yeah.
Like pull over? Yeah, that's your lats.
Okay. But it was hurting my shoulder when I get to here. I could just feel that sharp So don't go there. Stop here. And even though, it might be, more full range of motion, don't go that full range of motion if it's hurting there. Don't do it.
Sometimes it's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times it'll be real weird, like with my wrist. It'll be okay, if I'm doing a curl like this, oh man, it's hurting. And then I just turn it like that. It don't hurt. And then what I've done in the past, okay, now I could crank them out. I'm going to go heavy as I can, bam, 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 bam. And then 2 days later it hurts. Slow it down.
Yeah.
Keep the form, lighter weights.
Well, just the other day you were doing dumbbells, and no matter what angle you put the dumbbell at, it was hurting. But then you could do the same weight, if not more, with the W bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just gotta look for things that work, and if I can't find something if I want to do biceps, and I can't find something that works, stop.
Yeah.
Go to legs.
Yeah. Well, just to change the subject a little bit, it's Eliza.
Yep.
Eliza, I saw a video that your dad put up that you were doing walking lunges.
Oh, she is the walking lunge queen. Can you show us a walking lunge? Let's see. Let's take these off.
Be careful not to step on the device
step on
there.
those.
There you go.
Here, go over there. So,
Okay. Go ahead and show us a walking lunge.
all right. Look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
Learn from the best. Looks like.
Good job.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I started making Bill doing walking lunges, and so he made his daughter do them.
He learned from his dad.
Yeah. So Bill's still adjusting to the cardio part of it, right?
Yeah.
And
He hates running.
yeah, well, he hates walking lunges.
Yeah.
But I made him do several a couple weeks ago, and he showed me the video of Eliza doing them across the whole yard.
Yeah.
So I told Bill, I said, you have to know something. If you tell me you don't like something, you'll be doing it more.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. Yeah. So
And Bill is on vacation. He's down in Mississippi. So his son, Billy, who's 5 years old, I had at work with me all day yesterday. And here's something that's fascinating. That's people are kind of dissatisfied with their life. They're dissatisfied. Their whole life is career focused, and they're just looking for that perfect career. If I could just have this perfect career, then I'd be happy. And they miss the most important thing, I think. I like my career. I like what I do, but it's really the circumstances you do it under, the people you're doing it with. You know, I work with my children. All my customers, I like my customers. If I don't like a customer, I don't work for them. You're fired. And that's the thing that makes me the most happy. You know, enjoying what you do for sure is part of it.
right.
But the circumstances you're under, so I have and the customers I got, they allow, you know, and I'm a mechanical contractor. I'm a pipe fitter. I'm a commercial air conditioning guy. And I had my 5-year-old son in half a dozen businesses yesterday, you know, grandson. And because they're great customers, right? And I don't care if I'm a carpenter or electrician or whatever. That would make me happy.
Yeah.
So don't be looking for the perfect thing. Do it with people you love and serve customers you like.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Absolutely. Good philosophy. And you know, you've taken your kids. Then they used to go with you, as you had mentioned, when you worked.
Right.
So they started experiencing work ethic.
That's it. Yeah. By nature, we're lazy. By nature, we're perverts. By nature, we're television staring at weirdos. You got to be trained. We have to train ourselves not to like those things, and train that ethics, virtues, like courage and hard work and all those things. And it has to be trained into you. Train it into your children.
So let's end on this. So what you just said there, that takes will, right?
Yeah.
And I know other people that have, you know, I should say, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure many people have read, you know, the Bible, but don't find the will. So talk to me a little bit about the will.
I think mostly, again, courage. So throughout history, courage has been the premier virtue of men. Chastity and those kind of things have been the highest virtue of ladies. Okay, we're a cowardly, pervert society now. It takes courage to do these things, and we don't have it. Most people won't start their own business because they're scared.
Right.
And so you just say, no, I'm going to do those things. And but it does take willpower. But you got to develop willpower. You can't lay in front of a TV or a screen and develop willpower.
Right.
To become courageous, you have to do courageous things. To exercise your will, you got to start exercising your will. You have to start doing these things and start developing that kind of character in yourself. And then pass it on to your children. Become the kind of man you want your son to be, and then show him how to do it.
Beautiful.
Well, and I would kind of add to that. It can be done in many different ways, but one of the best ways to build that courage is to test yourself in the gym doing really hard things.
That's it.
Or any, not just in the gym, but any fitness thing. Do something very hard that's physical and show yourself you can do it. Take the courage to try something that you haven't done before, and that's going to build that courage you're talking about.
No risk, no glory, man. if you won't take the risk to fail, then, and the higher the risk when you make it, it's a more glory. When I was a kid, I jumped the XR75 off a highway overpass, and I crashed and blew my knee wide open. But I jumped the motorcycle off a highway overpass.
That sounds so familiar because I think I've heard you say that to me. Like when I tell you, James, don't do it like that, and you say no. What'd you just say?
No risk, no glory, man.
And you're like doing these crazy things in the gym. I'm like, James, stop doing that.
But I made it. I might have hurt myself, but I did it.
Yeah.
And that's worth it. To me,
Well,
it's fun.
But now you're on a new path to really build muscle and you're gonna get that wrist looked at in 2024.
That's right. And I'm gonna listen to you, and then so I can do things and go hurt myself again. We did a mill sim event, and hurt my knee, and it's going to take me a couple months to heal up, so I can go do another mill sim.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Military simulation.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Beautiful.
sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Well, got anything else you want to add, James, before we hop off here?
No, I've talked enough.
Well, I'm glad I was able to meet you. I know Matt's known you for a long time, and we really enjoyed having you on the podcast. Lots of good knowledge in health and fitness, but also just good life knowledge for you guys. So listen up. This guy's got some good experience and some good knowledge that we should all heed.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we will be back with you guys next week with another episode.
Yeah, and this is episode 18, so big things.
All right.
See you guys later. Bye.
Hey, look at you. You've completed another milestone by finishing this episode of Loading the Bar. Your future self thanks you profusely. Loading the Bar is podcasted from Lee Summit, Missouri. Email us at cpt.kansascity@gmail.com. Forge ahead and share your progress, and we'll see you back here for another episode of Loading the Bar.